Come on in. You are so welcome to be here tonight. Thank you to our audience. Hello, all. Come on in. Delightful to see you. Sorry, we're running a little bit late tonight. The clock apparently was slipping past us a little bit. But it is lovely to see you. We've got a fantastic roster for you tonight. You are welcome to keep your video off to have your video on. We do not mind. And I will welcome you in about a minute or so, and we'll get started then. Whilst we're waiting though, I would be really interested to know how wet your day has been. So has it been wet at all? um,
Nope.
I'm not, I mean, so you can pop it in the chat, you can pop it, but like in regards of like I'd say let's go for percentage. How wet are we talking? Your part of the country, your home, your house even. I mean, you might have a bit of a soggy house, I don't know. You might have a lotus pond in your living room. Who knows? But how wet is this situation? That's what I'd like to know. It has dripped and dried like a hermit crab walked across the day, says Caroline. I love that beautiful dry day here in the northeast. Yeah, Penny, I agree. It's just been a bit kind of like dry spells, cloudy on and off. Not raining today, finally, says Jane. I got my fleece wet washing up though. Brilliant. Tony says, been inside all day and haven't looked outside. Fair, Tony. Fair. That is, I mean, I hope there's been hydration in your life. I hope that right now you have a beverage, and that you have drunk. My sister and I take it in turns to hydrate each other because neither of us are very good. We hyper focus and then we awful, and then we'll just forget to drink like for hours, and then or like a while, and then it'll be like, oh, have you drunk recently? Have you got a headache? I wonder why. So yep, dry in Darlington, says Erin. Pete says soggy from yesterday, but nothing falling today. Lovely stuff. Mara says same to the being inside all day. Tony says I forget to drink too. I'm so glad. Not that you forget to drink, but that it's not just me. Wonderful stuff. Spring sunflowers showing off. Oh, for Nola, that sounds fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. Amazing. Not too many I've got wild garlic in my front garden. That's quite cool. I know, it is pretty amazing. Anytime I decide that I wanna, like, so it's not obviously not quite there yet, like, a few more weeks, and it'll be, like, in full, which just means that if I wanna make scones or pesto, I just go out to my front garden and I grab some, and then I go back in. It was really hard work foraging. Um Brilliant. Susie says, was totally clear for two F-15 jets doing a fly past for the Miamigo Memorial in Sheffield this morning, commemorating a US plane crew bailing out to avoid hitting the park in WW. Fantastic. All right. Hello. I would love to not introduce you. I'd love to welcome you to TWOOMPH tonight. My name is Rue. I am your host tonight. I'm a poet and a community artist. I have performed all across the UK and on the radio. And when I'm not on the road, which a lot of the time I'm not at the moment because I'm a disabled poet and I'm recuperating from an op. So I'm much more likely to be in my house at the moment with a puppy snuggled up to me trying to eat my laptop, which is lovely. And it is lovely to meet you. This is TWOOMPH. We are an open mic night. We try to shine a spotlight and give a real space for people to tell stories, to try stuff out. And usually we think it's a really lovely, warm and open audience. You guys will what make it special. It's online, which means it's super accessible. And the way it works tonight is that we're going to have a roster of amazing readers for you, telling us stories, sharing their work with us. Some of them might be brand new, some of them are completely old hands or just magnificent, wordy people in general. And when we call them up, their face is gonna come up on your screen, and we're also gonna have slides. So we're gonna have words up on the screen, which are their work at the same time. And if you don't want to see that, totally cool. You can just slide it across so that it's quite little and you see their face as a bigger part of the screen. But it's there just if you need it. We also have a transcript so you can have captions involved. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me. So with no further ado, I'm going to start introducing people to you, which is very exciting. So first up, we have the wonderful Georgia. Let me tell you about Georgia. Georgia is currently a creative writing MA student at Teesside University. Based in Bishop Auckland, she tends to explore autobiographical prose, detailing women's health and childhood traumas. She is slowly beginning to expand that reach into poetry. So please go absolutely wild for Georgia as she comes to the microphone.
Oh my gosh, hi. So this is my first time ever doing like spoken poetry. So I'm a little bit nervous. This poem, my first one is what I created following the birth of my son. So I hope you enjoy it. It means a lot to me. This body created life, chanted into a mirror, lights blackened, candles lit, incense of gold, frankincense, myrrh, all those kinds of witchy shit. I grew sunshine in this belly that now flip-flops side to side, a cavernous crater carved inside, remnants of godliness. Cut from hip to hip, 7 layers of sinew, then pulled into this world ungraciously. Bated breath awaited after 35 weeks of growing him imperfectly. This body created life. Not mine, never mind. I am only a formless entity piloting this compilation of flesh and bone and muscle that grew the sun with its confines. It brought us closer than was ever wished, and it's repulsing with every pulsing beat of heart and blood. This body created life with all of its battle scars and threats of death and brokenness, and barely creaking through another dawn, this body grew another body. Parasitic and symbiotic, spat with all the love a mother could hold. This body created life. Creation of a creature that changes before eyes with passing weeks. Potato, moving potato, potato with almost working legs, crawling potato, no longer potato, but a brain situated between ungraceful shoulders and elbows, fingers, knees, toes, step and laugh and teeth and babble and personality and a soul. And he is the son. He is mine, my Solomon, tiny king. Thank you. So this is another one that I wrote recently for our module Writing in the Self. It's called Bee's Knees. Bees on this knee, decorating the scars of tipping over flipper feet and scuffing up bikes on gravelly paths in a bark of 1,000 angry climbed trees, and Spanish glass ground into a fine dust scored deep, and empty shotgun shells and duck bloods and baby dog teeth and Turkish pool water flooding lungs and the bloody spits of a brother and his snake sharp tongue traded for scale sharpened blades and pencil fleets and measuring daylight gaps and canvassing souls in the flickering blisters of the night and pacing hospital halls and funeral homes and church pews and the bonfire burning sea and nooses threatening to asphyxiate the words from my larynx with acid tears raining upon hallowed cheeks with words of negative affirmations tawdrily reverberating their debris through a tattered skull. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, go absolutely wild for Georgia.
Thank you. Hey!
Absolutely amazing. Georgia, I don't think we would have ever been able to tell that was your first time doing a spoken performance. You absolutely nailed that. And right, I loved it. So remember, also the chat is your space, everyone. So if there's things that you like or enjoying, please put it in the chat so that our performers can read it afterwards. Because obviously, when they're reading, they don't usually have time to be able to kind of keep up with comments. But it's always nice for them to see stuff afterwards. But absolutely love that, Georgia. Thank you so much. All right,
thank you.
Fabulous. Right, on to our next reader. Let me tell you a little bit about Aisha. So as she comes to the microphone, Aisha is a poet, MA student, and founder of Write Yourself Well. She is passionate about the therapeutic application of writing for well-being. Woo woo! Absolutely, as she should be, and wants to encourage as many people as she can to get writing. You're in the right place, Aisha. This is fantastic. All right, please give it up for Aisha as she comes to the microphone.
Thank you so much. This is my second one, I think, doing this, so I'm really excited to share some more poetry with everyone. This first one is called Spring, so this time I chose to go with the sort of theme of beginnings and springtime and all of that. So this first one's called Spring. Emerging from my fog, gooey, wet, red-faced yet fresh, entering the familiar but unknown. silently pacing my mind through the emptiness, a stillness, refusing to be cluttered again. I refuse to be cluttered again. Lavender paths, daisy chains, bouquets of lilies, guided by daffodils, snowdrops, and bluebells. Have I been deceived? Crimson mist blurs the path behind, rising above the clouds. Gravity fails to hold me down. What have I been carrying all this time? Thank you. And this one I wrote for one of my close friends for her birthday. We're very into our witchy stuff, so I called it Witch. Curious eyes, her open heart flutters like a butterfly in the wind to the beat of her heart. Built from bricks of sapphire, ropes intertwined with loyalty, ties to her soul, whilst empathy drips from her lips. And I can't read the last paragraph.
Can we go back one slide? Sorry.
That's all right. Thank you.
Sorry, that should have
Empathy,
happened.
that's okay, don't worry. Built from bricks of sapphire, ropes intertwined with loyalty ties to her soul, whilst empathy drips from her lips. Intentions pure as snow, life lays the murkiest paths for her, and challenges upon challenges unknown she must face to grow. Thank you. And then this last one, I can't remember if I also performed this at the last open mic that I did, but I wrote this for my grandma, and this one's published in Allegro Poetry Online, so I'm really proud of this one. It's called Snowdrops. Years have passed since you left, yet here I am, once again blessed with the rise of the snowdrops. They appear overnight, silently offering beauty, peace, tranquility, a white blanket covering the land, a sea of delicate, bright petals. The weight lifts off my shoulders, replaced with a sense of familiarity. A distant voice whistles around me. Look at the snowdrops. Thank you so much.
That was gorgeous. Feel free to unmute yourselves, go absolutely wild, or use your emojis. Woo!
Woo!
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Aisha. Amazing. Oh, fantastic. This is a good night. Thursday, like, are we on Thursday? I don't even know actually. Whichever night it is, I'm getting to sit inside my house. It's nice and warm. I've got a good drink, and I'm getting to have lovely wordy things happening on my screen. Thank you so much. Amazing. So, what we have next is a film poem for you. So, the maker of this can't be with us tonight. She's called Gail Henderson. And let me tell you a little bit about it whilst we pop the link in the chat, and then I'll explain what we're going to do with that. So don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to do anything a little bit mad, but basically it's going to be a film poem. We're gonna you can press on the link in a minute when I tell you to, and you can go watch it. Mostly we do that because if we try to do it on here as a screen share, then because of everyone's internet being involved, it can be is a bit of a mess, to be honest. So we always pop the link in the chat, and then people can go watch it, and then they can come back. But that's just in a minute. So let me tell you a little bit about it and about Gail before we go off and watch this film poem, which isn't very long. It's about 2 minutes, and then we'll come back again. So Gail Henderson is an artist who draws and writes poetry. Her studio's in Middlesbrough with an organisation called Navigator North. She studied drawing at the Royal College of Art at the Centre for Drawing Research, and then creative writing at Teesside University. Woo woo! She's recently started documenting her practice using film. She says, in this, I explore layers of identity and contrasting moods with a montage of 2 poems and my carnivalesque drawings. The poems were written last summer when I attended TWOOMPH Spoken Word Bootcamp. Whoop whoop. Drawing them was dark feminine, intrinsic to my creative process, prompts poetic depersonalization. Oh. So I think we can tell you a little bit more about it in a bit, but I think I'd love you to go and don't worry, Jane. Honestly, I love the enthusiasm. I think it's brilliant. So you can either watch it a second time or not, but we're going to be back by 5 to. So currently it's 49 minutes past. So you're going to have a press. If you're back before then, that's absolutely fine. And we'll chat whilst we're waiting for everyone to come back. So just press on the link, and we'll see you in 5 minutes. Hello, hello. If you're back again, that's Brill. You can pop your reactions in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and have a chat to me, because it's always lovely. You're allowed. And oh man, I really enjoyed that. I loved so much of that. If you aren't familiar with the term spoons, that's that's basically if you've got a chronic illness or some kind of condition, a bit like mine actually, where you have limited energy. So usually you might wake up and you'd be like, oh, I'm refreshed because I've had sleep. You might be facing the day with limited energy compared to maybe someone of our peers. And I love that Gail's decided to kind of funnel that into creativity. And that's beautiful. So yeah, absolutely amazing. Jane says, wonderful. I love Gail's artwork. So beautiful. Penny says, mesmerizing. Susie says, that drip on dripping, the drawing on the face. I know. I thought it was brilliant. Ah, that was such a good moment. Absolutely. Susie also says, oh my goodness, that is portals of possibilities. Wow. Erin, oh wow, my disturbing oceans lacked perspective, and I am the lack stopped my thoughts. I am the lack was really powerful. I completely agree. Wow, Gail, I wish you could see all of this. We'll try to pass this on to Gail as well. I think it's so encouraging, isn't it? To be able to share our work with people and then to be told what people loved about it or what they connected with. And I'm also loving seeing all of your comments to our performers tonight. Thank you so much. Continue being so encouraging. You are incredible. This is brill. Okay, wow, wonderful. And it looks like it pretty much worked for everyone, which is fantastic. I'm really pleased. We're going to give everyone another 30 seconds or so and then we'll restart, which is brill. And we will be having the fabulous Penny Blackburn, who I will introduce you to in a minute. But yeah, as I said, we'll wait until 5-2 because I did say 5-2. But it looks like it worked for pretty much all of you, which I'm really glad. Did anyone have problems accessing it or did it all work out okay? Bro. Brilliant. I'm so pleased. This is very good. All right. Oh, Georgia, I'm so sorry. I have problems because my internet isn't very good. Georgia, I'm really sorry to hear that. Have you got the link so that you can kind of go look at it at some point when you've got a bit, hopefully better internet somewhere else, I hope. Got to watch it later. Fantastic. Totally worth it. Really recommend it. It's only 2.5, 3 minutes. So it won't take very long. Brill. All right. Fantastic. Let me tell you about Penny as she comes to the microphone. So, Penny Blackburn lives in North Tyneside and writes poetry and short fiction. She's been published in Spelt, Rigwelter, Fair and Writing Magazine, amongst others. Her debut collection, Gaps Made of Static, from Yaffle Press, is currently available, so definitely go check her out. That is amazing, Penny. Let's give it up for Penny as she comes to the microphone. Woo woo!
Thank you. My first couple of poems are based on traditional fairy tales. The first one is called After Happy Ever After. My dreams are fading with every passing day. My husband says, you slept like death. How could you dream? He tells me all the ways in which he saved me, why he keeps me from mirrors and other men. He calls me snow, and yet the blazing sun, the heat of his land has turned my skin to gold. I do not need a mirror to see the lines of grey drawn through my hair. When he kisses me, he says my lips are blood. He walks me in a grove of limes and lemons, feeds me slices of peach, the velvet skin soft within my mouth. I am happy, I tell him. My lying tongue is tart with a poisoned apple craving. Thank you. The next one, also based on a fairy tale, it's called It Was Worth the Price of a Cow. That night when he came home, roaring drunk, he was already a different man from the one I married. He flung the battered handful at me, beans hard as salt against the old bruises on my skin. He growled, make my tea, and I cowered at the thought of feeding him a stew of just 5 beans. By the time it was ready, he was in a drunken slumber, the weight of his snores like the footfall of giants. A compulsion came over me and I gulped down the food, those 5 beans sliding down my throat like pebbles. Then I slept too, and in my dreams the beans awoke inside me. quickly grew. They curled into my limbs one by one. The last unwound itself into my head, kept uncoiling so that I also grew. I towered over the house and the town and surged into the sky. I heard him wake far below and whet his foot-long axe. I plucked it from his hand and let the blade skim my nails to perfect points. I saw his anger flip into fear. I felt in my mouth a taste of bread. Thank you. My next one, this is, you said about new starts. This is about a new start. It's called, oh, hang on, it's gone too far. It's called A Change in the Air.
Let me go back because I don't know.
It's all right, it's there now. Thank you. It's a change in the air. Her father calls and calls for her. She stays sitting on the yard floor, resting against the rough brick wall. Fat spatters of rain burst with relief on the too long dry concrete. She stretches out her palm to catch the essence of the summer storm. He shouts again, but now the pounding drops shout louder. She leans forward, covers her head with her arms, lets the beating downpour bruise afresh the skin of her back, fill up the hollows left by his hands. Yesterday, he forced them to visit a shot tower, gave them all a lecture on how people used to make the lead shot by pouring molten metal from the top. She recalls looking up at its Rapunzel height, intrigued behind her teenage mask of sheer boredom, the one she wears to cover her hatred, except at the edges. She will go in soon. They'll tell him this time. Enough. She imagines diving from the tower, falling with the lead, with the rain, how flashing white hot she will sizzle and hiss even before she hits the water, even before she becomes the shot, pitiless and irrevocable. Thank you. And if I have time for the fourth one?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is, I don't know whether it's a warning or a prayer. It's called In the Hands of the Sea God. The shipwreck map clusters thickly on the wall. Farther out, the charts are unmarked. Once you leave everything, drift over the horizon, no further records are kept. Spars break more easily out of sight. A flag, a floating sail, semaphores only to the sky. The beacon and the radio shore up your misplaced confidence. For 40 days, while you drink turtle blood and render down the fat, you can tell yourself, somebody knows. That must be enough to sustain you. When your muscles pull hard against the dull blade of the oar and your skin wears a poultice of salt, cling tightly inside your life jacket. Shanty to yourself the name of the land that is no longer there. Thank you.
Oh, oh. Give it up for Penny. Woohoo! I mean,
Thank
Penny, I think you can probably see by the chat that everyone's been so enjoying your pieces and they're amazing. I'm not actually going to read them all out because there are so many, but I hope you're able to read them and enjoy them. And let me introduce you to our next reader before the break. So Susie Wilson is our next reader, and let me tell you about Susie. Susie is a Scottish ADHD poet living in Sheffield. You could call her Little Miss Shortlist. Wow. And indeed, she's just been shortlisted again for the Disabled Poet Award 2024 Unpublished Pamphlets Competition with a series of poems about living with stage 4 melanoma titled Nowhere Near as Safe as a Snake in Bed. Final announcement coming up on 16th of March, live streamed from the Deptford Literature Festival. So we will have all of our fingers crossed for you, and we can't wait to. Hopefully, we can we follow you on socials and find out a little bit more about that. Brill, amazing. So Susie will pop her handles in the chat for you later, so that you can follow her and keep up to date with that. That's brilliant, amazing. So please welcome Susie as she comes to the microphone. Woo!
Oh, thank you. So these poems are not actually in that pamphlet. They're missing bits. There's a whole series to do with the god Apollo. And the reason he appears is because he was the god of sun, music, prophecy, poetry, illness, and healing. So he's like Mr. Melanoma to me. So I'm going to read you 3 poems about him. There's a mouse that lives in my garden, which we think is actually Apollo. In the ancient Greek world, he used to appear in mouse form, and we reckon he's out there in the garden looking after me. But this first poem that you can see here, it's based on a story of Apollo competing with a satyr called Marsyas. And Marsyas stupidly challenged Apollo to a music contest, which is probably not a good idea with the god of music. And he lost. And then Apollo skinned him alive. So very sorry about that. Bit gory. Anyway, here it is. Better out than in. When Apollo flayed Marsyas alive, the satyr said, "Why do you peel me from myself?" Dixit said, apparently. Is this proof that time gives distance, however bad it seems in the instant? Or have poets and translators all conspired to keep the gory details to themselves? We all know, apparently. But until some doctor god slices half a foot off your thigh, even asleep, you don't. You could be undone 3 years later, opened up out of the blue on a dry April morning, apple blossom buds slowly coming, but not quickly enough to buoy you in a flood of tears clotted like blood. Marsyas became a river in the end. What had he done to deserve this? One of those mad cosmic contests over who was best at music. You, yesterday, picked the trumpet up again. So this next one is me imagining about Apollo in his mouse form. What might he be doing today? And I actually just Googled Apollo and music and found out that there is an Apollo music in Liverpool on Four Princes Parade. So, and one other little note you need from this is that in the ancient Greek world, they used to make sacrifices to the gods by taking a lump of a cow or a sheep. They'd put the bone in with the fat wrapped around it. And that made the smoke go really high up. And the idea was it would rise up to the god. So once that smoke gets there, the god will do your bidding. You know, you hope. Ode to Apollo music for Prince's Pavement. Apollo sells music in Wirral. You know, Birkenhead, Merseyside. New bigger store and online sale. Guitars, recording, PA, keyboards, brass and woodwind, banjos, ukuleles. No oboes, though, and pipes and lyres are out to pasture. Not worth gambling on stock. He keeps the yellow plastic blind down, like small-town furniture shops, lest the sun gets to his wares, damages lots of teach-yourself folk rock, plectrums, any stuff a hopeful youth might pick up. He sits in the back behind the till, shades on, like a blind bard, fixing elements for sun lamps, his other sideline to the old bad business, causing a plague, then healing it if prayers and burning sacrifice comes right. In the evening, takeaway smells fill the street, and his ancient snout, still no thigh bones wrapped in fat. Poor old Apollo. I feed the one in the garden better. Gets bird food. And this last poem is, it was actually written in 2019, which was the year of the Apollo moon mission. So it's kind of commemorating that. And there we are. Apollo. What does my garden grow? An apple tree bearing water when it rains, offering the drops back up to mother, father, everything sky, or to the Lord of light, growth, plague. It isn't bending down to us or earth. Instead, suddenly this summer, my tree prepares for liftoff. Cargo grows in its delicate hold. and drop by drop it bends to spring. Apple mission number 1, return its golden apples to the sun, or silvered to the moon. And sure enough, one fine day, in every city, perfect pairs of apple trees will tumble up in soundless synchronicity into a diving pool of sky, leaving no telltale splash. Just us, finally, open-mouthed. Thank you.
Oh, what a treat. Thank you very much, Susie. Amazing. And I think because of Angela, we have a link to the Disabled Poets Prize, and hopefully Susie will pop her handle in the chat. Sorry, I'm having a bit of brain fog tonight, so words going in straight lines, very tricky. So apologies if I'm not as clear as usual, but thank you for your patience. All right, fantastic. That is for our first half. So this is the part of the show where we get into shenanigans. So every single time we have a TWOOMPH open mic night, we always have a bit of a break. In a minute, I'll give you some time for kind of a comfort break. But before that, we're going to do shenanigans. So shenanigans is just where I do something a bit silly with you. So we might do a poem, we might do a game. Tonight we're going to do a quiz. So the theme is oh, Penny's like, I'm ready. So the theme tonight is folklore. It was a bit loose to kind of give you all space for if you wanted to involve yourself in that or not, but we are going to have a little folklore quiz, and I'm going to share some creatures on screen, or rather we're going to do the ingredients for a creature, and you're going to have a little guess as to which creature of folklore you think it's going to be. Now these folklores are from all across the world, okay? So the ones in Europe, the ones in the UK, they're ones from Japan. There are lots of different places, all right? Absolutely fine if you don't know the answer, but if you think you do, pop it in the chat or say out loud, so you do not have to have your microphones muted for this. So I'm going to share the screen, and you need to let me know if you can see it. And then hopefully, can you all see?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right, brilliant. So creatures of folklore, fantastic. All right, okay, our first one being mud and breath. What do we reckon? What kind of ingredients would that lead to for a creature of folklore? Throw me your ideas.
Angela said golem. I agree with that, I think.
Oh, already fantastic.
Yeah.
Angela, I think you are completely correct. So there we go. Let's have a little look. Yeah, absolutely bang on. Very nice. Okay, next ingredients. Woman plus seal. Hopefully, this is one.
Selkie.
Selkie. Was that Jane? That's so
Selkie.
quick. I love it. Absolutely brilliant. Amazing. Yep. Perfect. Selkie, known as oh, also, sorry, I should have said, you will get extra points if you can tell which area of the world or which folklore or mythology it's from. So for our golem,
Orkneys.
say again.
Orkneys for the
Well,
Celts.
Scotland.
Absolutely, the Selkie, yeah, Orkney or Irish folklore,
Scotland, yeah.
absolutely. But for our golem, does anyone know which mythology that's from?
Is it Hebrew?
Yeah, it is, bang on, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic, very good guesses, guys. I would say that you get a prize, you get eternal glory. Well done. Fantastic. All right, ingredients: small plus mischief. This is supposed to be a little bit harder. Small plus mischief. That could be
Is it pixie?
Pardon?
Pixie.
Oh, pixie, that's an interesting one. Any other guesses?
Stiltskin.
Oh, we had one from
A trow.
Stiltskin. Say again.
Elf.
Oh,
A trow.
Oh, a
Trout.
trow. That's a really good guess as well. I think I also heard leprechaun. Should we have a little look, see what we think we have got? Leprechaun, very nice. But yeah, trow and lots of the other ones were really good guesses as well. Brilliant. All right, cryptid.
Irish, of course. With
Oh yes, thank you very much for the extra point. Literally, that was like my one job was to remember the rules that I made up. Yeah, well done, excellent. You got good.
Yeah.
So next one's cryptid and goat sucking. Any ideas?
Is it called a chupacabra?
Oh, you are so
Oh,
close.
somebody's put chocolate.
Chupacabra.
Chupacabra. I think I'm confusing it with the
Very
capybara.
nice. Yeah, well, to be honest, the peas and the really close. I'm really impressed. Also, I feel like it should be related to a capybara, but yes, you are absolutely right. Very nice. I like that. I thought we should rename it personally. It's actually really difficult to get a kind of a pic, to be honest. That's a bit more gruesome than I remembered that picture. But a chupacabra, absolutely. Anyone know which part of the world this is from?
Is it Mexico or something?
Central America.
Amira said Mexico, yeah.
Yeah, Central America, South America. Chupacabra literally means goat sucker, and it was known for not eating anything, but just going around and sucking all the blood out of goats, out of livestock, out of
Bit of the
humans.
goat.
Yeah, I know. Hence, and we don't also like the different mythologies kind of have it looking a bit different. So actually, it was really hard to find something that people agreed it looked like. So this was the most horrific one I could find. There you go. You're very welcome. All right, lovely job, amazing. Right, snake and stone.
Oh, Medusa.
Medusa.
Right.
Yeah,
Can we
I don't know then.
can we go a
Gorgon.
little bit wider, not just Medusa? Medusa is a particular.
Oh, so Gorgon.
Gorgon.
Oh, very nice. Who was that?
I did say Gorgon.
Oh, very nice, Penny.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
Greek.
Very
Yeah.
good. Yeah, and Greek, bang on. Yeah. Honestly, it was
Yeah.
so difficult to find a Gorgon picture which didn't have her, her head chopped off.
Yeah.
They're based
yeah.
on dead bodies, so basically every image you'll see, they basically will be based on that, so they will not be nice.
No,
Really.
very true. I should have probably done a trigger on that. Sorry. Yeah, so there you go. That was a Gorgon. Well done. Very nice. Greek as well. Very good job. All right, Lake and Mystery.
It's like the Loch Ness.
Yeah, monster.
What?
Oh no, it's
Avalon.
Celtic.
Or Avalon.
Viviane with the sword.
God, yeah.
Ooh, very nice.
Celtic. Celtic.
Very lovely. All right, okay, these are really great guesses. You are absolutely bang on. It was old Nessie. I just couldn't resist. Obviously, we have no idea what Nessie would look like, and obviously it's a bit of a hoax in it. But the point is,
I don't think so.
sorry, of course not. Absolutely. So, which part of the world is this incredible piece of folklore from?
Scotland.
Scotland.
China.
Absolutely fantastic. So there we go. So in the depths of Loch Ness. What do you think? Do you think that's a good way of what you think old Nessie looks like, or do we think probably
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Right. Wonderful. All right, got another one. This one's going to be a bit more tricky, maybe. So, ghost plus eats men's organs. That could actually be quite a few different creatures of folklore. Quite a lot of them have a tendency to just like eating men. I don't know why. Bit rude. Anyone got any ideas?
No.
It's not a vampire, is it? No.
It's not a vampire, but that's not a bad idea. Kind of undead, that sort of feeling.
Not something Chinese, is it?
Oh, you're getting towards the right part of the world.
Yeah.
In Indonesia and Malay mythology.
Right.
So, any other ideas? It's absolutely fine if not.
I wouldn't know a name.
No, to be fair, I didn't either.
Is it the Kuntilanak?
Say again.
Is it the Kuntilanak?
Oh my gosh, who got that?
Jane.
Oh, she googled it.
It was also me, but
I googled.
You're bang on. Absolutely right. It's a Pontianak. Absolutely.
No, I already knew it. No, I
Did
didn't.
Kuntilanak.
No, I didn't. I googled.
Oh well, I would have believed you, Jane. I would have. I'm a bit of a sucker for author. I just believe that you know. Absolutely.
We call it Kuntilanak.
Yep. So it's a pale creature with, well, I can't see the pale, but anyway, long dark hair and red eyes, and female spirit of a woman who died whilst pregnant, apparently. And she can transform into a beautiful woman to prey on men. She's said to appear at the full moon and feast on the bodily organs of her victims. Yum. All right, lovely stuff. So there you go. Very well done. Fox and Trickster.
Oh, is that the Japanese one?
Oh, okay. You managed to get a point for being in the right area. Well done.
Oh, it's really annoying. I read a story where
It's not Kitsune, is it? Kitsune.
Very nice, Jane.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, Kitsune, yeah.
Absolutely. So it's Kitsune is a Japanese demon. And they are particularly, they get into mischief. Do these? They like to trick humans. And the older they get, the more powerful they get.
That's just a Pokemon.
It does look a bit like a Pokemon, doesn't it? You'd be
It does
amazed
look like
at
a
how many
Pokemon.
of the Japanese Japanese
Yeah.
mythology folklore creatures look a lot like Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's not though.
It's like Tails from Sonic the Hedgehog, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think he was based on this. I think I can't say
Yeah.
for sure.
Absolutely. So, right, our final thing is just for like a little bonus is that I've got a poem which it was probably one of the first that I got published in an anthology, and you got to guess who's speaking. So let me quickly, and then that's the final part of the creatures of folklore. So let me stop that share and grab this. So it's called Silk. Your lips twist, knowing they're all looking at you. Their eyes caught on the thread, your creation so new that it still smells of the fabric, the machine, not of you. Not like the dusty old crap on the stand. Antique? You think not. Primitive, dull, and amateur's hands have woven some coarse rags, and the sum is so bland. And they say it was made by a goddess. Oh, please. You laugh at the claim. This faded rag reads like a prayer to craftsmanship, something it needs. But yours, oh, yours is a triumph of song against skin, of music, of passion. Oh, if clothes can be sin, you brim over with loathing and sniff, then turn, or at least you begin. You hadn't seen her face in the dyes faded by history, and you fall back in surprise as she unfolds from the weave, goddess made flesh. She sighs, her breath greasy with flowers and rots, with a name only found in dusty old pages, not yet forgot. It is not wise to think quite so loud, and the words tickle hot, and they wrap round your neck, almost stroking like a newlywed bride. Your voice is broken. You're lost in a flurry of words as you scrabble back, choking because fire chases her touch. Your dread grows as you shrink and your skin starts to shed, and you fold and you scream with a tongueless black head. I know you're kind. Once long ago, I cursed an arrogant one. She too pricked my pride, but the drum of her fate didn't beat loud enough. This time, I won't leave it half done. Your legs may be many and your eyes number more, but she traps you between her foot and the floor. Blood is the price for breaking this law. Athena does not forgive or forget. All right, any ideas? What's our final mythical
It's
creature?
Arachne.
Very nice, well done. Brilliant. Oh, fantastic. Thanks for playing that with me. So shenanigans is always different each week. You get to be creative. Sometimes we do a quiz, sometimes we do a game. So there we go. That was that for the time being. And now this is the amazing part of the show where I get to introduce you to our headliner, which I was thrilled about because it's the magnificent Jane Byrne. So I'm going to tell you about Jane, and then she's going to come and wow us with her wordery, as always, which is amazing. So Jane Byrne is a working class LGBTQIA plus person with autism and an award-winning hybrid writer. Her work is widely published. Her next collection, The Apothecary of Flight, will be published in July by Nine Arches Press. She's the Michael Marks Awards Environmental Pro of the Year 2023-24, and her pamphlet, 1,000 Miles from the Sea, is available from the British Library and Wordsworth Grasmere. So please give it up for Jane as she comes to the microphone.
Hello, thank you. I thought we were having a comfort break, Ruth. I think we might have missed that one. Never
We did.
mind.
Would you like? Would we like one before we?
Yes, please.
Okay, right. Everyone, I'm terribly sorry. I got too excited because I was like, it's next. So if we all come back by about 26 minutes past, and then we will continue on with our fabulous Jane. Amazing.
Thank you for speaking up, Jane.
Well done. Me too. I was there like, no, it's fine. It isn't fine. I'm terribly sorry. So 5 minutes and we'll see you all back.
Sorry, I would never have made it if I didn't go to the loo.
That's me. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Yes, like my brain is not remembering things tonight, so I really appreciate the prompt because
That's
otherwise you'd have
okay.
all had to hold it till 8 o'clock, and that's not very comfy. So I'm terribly sorry. We've got another 2 minutes or so before we're back, and then we will have a chance to carry on. Thank you, Jane.
That's okay.
And
Needs
I was like, I really do want to read, but I really don't want to miss Jane reading.
No, completely agree.
Like,
Who,
because we're
you
like,
shouldn't have been put in that position. Shouldn't have to be like P or poet. I don't
not
know.
a poet. Well, I would have been the peeing poet.
And we don't want that. I feel they wouldn't come
Had I
back.
not gone.
oh dear.
No, we really appreciate that. Sorry, loves. All right, cool. Good news. We're at another minute, and then we'll come back straight into everything. We've got our wonderful Jane, and we also have another couple of amazing poets for you tonight as well, which is going to be brill. Right. Dum, dum, dum. Also, if any of you have pamphlets, if you have socials, if you have anything you want to share at all, please pop it in the chat. We want to see it. We want to celebrate with you. We want to be excited for you and supporting you. So yeah, pop it in the chat. Absolutely your space to do so. Please, 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 please. Wanna read more things. Wanna get access to all of these things. So absolutely. Yep. Oh, quick question about, are these recurring? Yes, they are. TWOOMPH happens every month. It's the fourth. Oh man, we've recently changed this. It used to be the second Tuesday. Anyway, the point is, it's the fourth Thursday of every month, right? So TWOOMPH is the fourth Thursday of every month. That happens to be the 22nd this month, and it will be, just to let you know. Come on, friend. Why have I not done this? Next month it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, the 28th of March. We always have a headliner. We always have a whole bunch of poets to be able to share. Hello, Naima. Thank you. It's so good that you were able to join us. And so we always have a headliner. We have someone we're celebrating for a bit of a longer slot. We have readers for 5 minutes. We always ask for work in advance of the night so we can put it in slides. So if we're not able to, I have a feeling that we might not have the sort of sign up stop in advance, but basically if we don't have sign-ups by kind of like beginning of today, then we don't have chance to put it into slides, so unfortunately people can't perform, but it's still a really fantastic night. So there we go. So unfortunately, Naima, I'm so sorry. I'm aware that you wanted to perform tonight and we don't have time to put your work up, but we would love to have you next month if you're available and around, so we can chat about that later. Amazing. So our fabulous people tonight. We've got the fantastic Jane Byrne. I'm going to introduce you to her again as she comes to the microphone, especially if you're just joining us. So Jane Byrne is a working class LGBTQIA+ person with autism and an award-winning hybrid writer. Her work is widely published. Her next collection, The Apothecary of Flight, will be published in July by Nine Arches Press. She's the Michael Marks Awards Environmental Poet of the Year for 2023 and 24, and her pamphlet 1,000 Miles from the Sea, which I can absolutely recommend, is available from the British Library and Wordsworth Grasmere. So please go absolutely wild for Jane as she comes to the microphone. Woo!
Oh, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I've been really enjoying your poems. They're all absolutely wonderful. Right. This first poem was written in response to a photograph, 9 men standing on a beached sperm whale at Leith Harbour, South Georgia, 1913, which is held by the Royal Scottish Geographical Society. 9 men on a whale. She is dead. On the deck, herself awaiting the flens, waiting for men to unmake her blankets, gaff them away. pass her on to the lemmers to strip her of meat and bone. 9 fellows paused and proud for the sake of this photograph, paused on her side, marking the place of her ribs with their booted feet. After the camera's click, they turned back to the pillage, worked her invisible. Her splinter of lower jaw hangs loose. The rest of her head lies like a sea cobble, weighted, stony, still. She must have been a sight in full breach. Her blood wets the ground. The chain that will heft her leftovers presses its links to her stomach soft. Over her corpse, snatches of song. They sang, they caught, sang and caught. The bleached land hears, the red sea hears. 45 more. 45 more. The next poem is Say Grey. She is the colour of ages, merle of slate, chalk snagged barnacle husk, underbelly ridged. Krill in opaline carpets on the waves is sieved in slow motion swallows. Death in her baleen feathered ivory smile. Her tongue twines the ocean, carving a path through the waves. Her panels of leaden fin give salutation. She turns a corkscrew, shows the web of scars. She has endured teeth, wears the bites, they the signature of survival. The hole in her head blows a kiss to the sun, dazzles a spectrum in rainbow mist. Her body rolls, knuckles of spine curving her back to the sea. Her fluke beats at the sky. A huge grey butterfly dragged down to its death. The next poem was written to reflect many of the poor working class people who left Scotland to work in the whaling harbours. They did it because they needed money, because they needed a better life. So this pamphlet is not just about criticising, it's about accepting that people went because they had to survive as well. I apologise for my accent in advance. I am gone on the Husvik boat. I will bring back silk for a dress, pearls to swing for your lugs, lace for the pale or your heather-baned throat. I will return, come back and buy a fertile patch for our ain, heft stains to build around us, break ye into a home for us. Nothing here but stench, snow cold as your breasts in the byre at dawn. I rub my palms on the hulls scored with. Think o' ridges on ram's horn, think o' good meat. Nor this train of scrot fed to the carrion throng. So many things made for flaying, so many tools to whittle lard and rib, to calf pain. I hae skill. The coggies and spoons are made for the sip o' your mouth. How I watched with desire the curve o' your kiss upon morsels. Paring flesh into leaves, I picture your Bible hearthside read. Hope the pages had comfort, more than I found in this stinking book of flesh, turning over blubber scrolls, my hands fund heat for a while, but ye canna warm for long on the cauldron blood o' the dead. When I return, they say there will be such spoil. We shall burn with cruisy day and night. I think I will choose nae snuff it out. I have brimmed myself too many times on chill and dark. I looked into begrutten een and pit them out. I travelled an ocean and left behind my soul. The next poem, Whalefinger, is titled after a soft tissue infection which the whalers and people who hunted seals used to suffer from. It causes acutely swollen, painful fingers and is caused by bacteria due to handling their raw meat. The sickness I refer to in this poem was the name the whalers gave to the horrific mental health issues in workers due to witnessing the killings and their existence in punishing living light and weather conditions. Whalefinger. I swim around this island, so very quiet now. The Scotia Sea rolls around the capes. Disappointment, the deep indent of Doubtful Bay. Bitter cool with beryl ice, spots of spray where wave meets berg flash spectrums before coming back to the wet. I steal a peep of faraway sun before the fall of night. I am a survivor. I remember when they took my mother. My first year I prospered on her milk, suckled joy from the flat shale of her sides. She taught me the twist and turn of oceans, showed me krill. I think I saw her, gentle in the South Georgia swell. Her loveliness unready for the pierce of steel. Around us, detonated flesh. I cried, threaded my squeaks and clicks in the shape of her name. Men loomed the stanchions, guessed the value of our bulk. Everything slick. The screams of say whales greased the air with fear. Prows frothed scarlet, boilers waited ready, lit, and everywhere the stench. Each breath I had to take was poison. Smoke of friends, of lovers thick in my lungs. the last taste of them ached on my tongue. We lived like peas in pods, families singing, feeding, voiding our blowholes at the sky. I cruise the deep for miles, sending out my call. It echoes into nothing. For decades, this coast was littered with flesh, with stripped skin, drifting vertebrae strings. This was all that remained of brother, father, uncle, sister, mother. Those butchers turned this place to a boneyard. Their hands rotted from hours spent in our meat. Crazed by the sickness, all that spilling, stabbing, winter long and dark. The doctors had no pill for this, I had no pity. The shores rank with asbestos, rang with slicks of shame. A place rooted to its core with loss is easy to forget, so far away. I cannot quit this circling. Here is where they spread my mother's soul. I skim over rib and skull, see the floating bullet of a hull above my head. I go below, sink to the safety of skeleton kin. I am a survivor. Your touch is the death of all things. And I'm going to finish with this last poem, which is based on
I think there may be a connection issue.
Yes. Jane, can you hear us, my lovely? Oh, yeah, you're back. Hooray! You
oh,
disappeared
have
for
I
a second.
gone?
No
Oh,
worries. It was
sorry.
just as you were trying to, just as you were introducing your last poem. To
Oh,
tell us.
I do apologise. I hope I'm all right now. Sorry, this last poem is based on the term candle power, which is a term still used to measure the amount of light emitted as compared to one spermaceti candle. This is candles from my head. The stuff in my head that balances me, that keeps me afloat. My esters, they stole it. I am old, spent a lifetime making my wax, my oil, my conductor of sound. They stole it. It does not smell. You did not have to breathe my death, scent my pain, know that you put a match to my end. I was the brightest burning of all. Their homes were illuminated by my ghost. Church, home, hall, there I would be, measured in flickers, delving shadows bright. No other candle surpassed my beauty, smooth, cold, pale, 1,000 miles from the sea. Thank you so much for listening.
Oh, thank you so much. Feel free to unmute yourselves and go absolutely wild for Jane Byrne. Woo!
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Honestly,
Absolutely
what a treat.
beautiful.
What a powerful
Beautiful.
set. Thank you so much, Jane.
So sad.
Oh, and yeah, wouldn't let you go. That was definitely something that kept coming through. We would not let you go. Your language and your storytelling, it was incredible. Thank you for sharing that with us. Amazing. Thank you very much for that, Jane. We have 2 more readers for you tonight. 2 fabulous readers, and then it will be done. Oh, so sad. I'm always sad when it comes, but the good news is we do this all again next month. So smashing. Let me tell you about Caroline as she comes to the microphone. So Caroline Walling is a performance poet, writer and teacher. Born and raised in mid Wales, then forged in the northeast. As a member of the Tees Women Poets, Caroline has performed at events including Festival of Thrift, Crossing the Tees and Tall Ships. She has work published with Dreamcatcher. Her poetry involves an honest and passionate voice delivered with emotional physicality. She's just finished a residency at Drake the Bookshop in Stockton and is working on her first poetry collection. So please give it up for Caroline. Woo!
Thank you very much. Although I have to say, now I've caught my breath back from Jane's reading, I have to admit, I'm not sure I want to follow that, Jane. That was spectacular. Thank you. All right, so since doing my residency and trying to develop myself as a poem, I've been sort of playing around with forms and things like that. So I've got a couple here influenced by one of my favourite poets, Mary Oliver. This is called January Mornings. It's called after hers is called After Walking to Indian River, and it was just a matter of looking at her form and, you know, taking a couple of little sentences and then sort of adding my own thoughts to particular emotions at the time. So January Mornings. I am ready for spring. This cold pricks my skin. Still I put on my coat, step outside, feeling frosted mischief pinching my ears and dulling my toes. I peer in all directions. The trees are gilded in an early sun. See them glow, like tall guardians above a pale world. They tell me, look, the world is beautiful. All will be warm again. Give it time. Thank you. And again, influenced by another one of Mary Oliver's called The Meadow Lark. Right, I hope you're all familiar with larks. They're just absolutely stunning birds. And she was questioning. She started it with a question, and the poem itself, Meadowlark, is about a sense of kind of, I guess, a loss of where things are going. And I was feeling that at the time. I live in Eaglescliffe, and like a lot of places, there's an awful lot of houses going up and an awful lot of hedgerows being lost. And I get it. People need to live nice places. But it also breaks my heart every time they take away a hedgerow or a field or a group of trees. I hate it. So I kind of, Meadowlark inspired me in that. And I call this one Swift Suburbia. Does anyone know where they are? The birds and creatures. They used to sing and scurry. I would delight in their noise, the discovery of their traces, all announcements of their place in this beautiful world. Now the wild green places are changing. Fields, trees and hedgerows replaced with a swift suburbia, paved, occupied and tame. The houses have come en masse. I worry for the wild green places, for the next fields, trees or hedgerows. Can anyone tell me what happens when it's all a swift suburbia? Thank you. And this final one I wrote as part of my Drake's residency, because it's Drake the Bookshop. So this was a bit of fun, just playing with the always brilliant list poems. So easy to do, so magnificent. So, you know, always give them a go if you're never sure of poetry. 20 reasons why books are brilliant, because they are. They are magical portals that are portable. A friend's conversation, a meeting of minds, escapism, dream dippers, mind shapers, eye openers, empathy swellers, curiosity quenchers. They are tear-jerkers, hate-mongers and thrill-seekers, negotiators, instigators and conspirators, peacekeepers, guardians and teachers, our truth, our lies and all things in between, a world of life in your hands. They are the answer to a rain-filled, lonely day, the perfect companion to a cup of tea, a perfect reason to lose time and find yourself. They are our testaments, a university of possibilities. They are the one thing you can wear out with love. Thank you.
Oh, gorgeous. Thanks very much, Caroline. Brilliant. Thank you very much. I loved that final line. And they're the one thing you can wear out with love. I love that. I think that's a beautiful line. Thank you so much. Well, we've only got one more reader. But let me tell you about her. Finola Scott, slam-winning, award-winning Finola writes in Scots and English, examining and dissecting life, occasionally focusing on love, family, and women's situations. She knows poetry won't change the world, but she gives it a try. What? Often published in One Hand Clapping, Gutter, Alchemy Spoon, High Window, Fragmented Voices. She's absolutely brilliant. What a way to finish off our night. But please welcome Finola as she comes to the microphone.
Thank you. Unmute. Thank you. That was a ridiculously good introduction. What a delight to be finishing this event with fabulous readers, terrific range of poems. I'm just going to read my three and let everybody go home for their tea. Cats and mice. A shadow, she's nimble, smart in practical shoes. Her mum approves, but doesn't know they power her marches. At the train station, she is invisible to the watcher police, knows all about their lists. She considers the buffet, then balks, thinking of pals incarcerated in Perth prison, force-fed, released, rearrested, isolated. They're tied, tubes thrust in throats, noses, rectums, liquid dripped into stomachs and lungs. Coughing, choking, arms, legs gripped. Steel gags screwed tight, opening mouths wide, wider. Windpipes torn, and still, no, still the cause, the hunger strike. Tough decisions, such sacrifices for future freedoms. Knowing what's at risk, she steels herself, turns Valkyrie, goes over the plan. The gathering, the king's arrival. She clenches her fists, wishes for the company of ravens. Yes, they will win the vote. They will gain independence. And I suppose you could say that that is a beginning. It's a beginning of us getting the votes, which is tremendously powerful and important for us to do. The next one has quite a dark tone to it. I'm warning you in advance. It's a Japanese thing, this shugiban, shugiban, searing love. I will burn you, all emperor pired, scented cloves, camphor, sweet sandalwood. No blue sky burial here, native wood best. So loyal. Juniper, birch, cherry. I will lock plait you, muscled in close coppiced limbs, flesh cross-grained, pitted black. I want to cat weave a cradle of timber to flame you. Elder, oak, buckthorn. Heat will scar bones, boil blood, sear self, eat air, seal you. Smoke will shrivel hair, veins and fat melt. Plump skin, crinkle, crackle. Willow, holly, rowan. You will resist, vanquish dark, become resilient, become immortal. Oh, trust me. And the next one was written in response to thinking about your body and who was in charge of it, and were you in charge of it, and how you felt towards your body. And it was a call out to write about that. So I wrote this. The boss of me. Too much barefoot wandering. I've disgraced myself, caroused on rain-bright marble. That bar in Gdansk, all extravagance. The ice, the 6 white horses. I've broken my body often, not enough attention paid or teeth scaled. Loose in this pale envelope of skin, I walk unsteady on hind legs. My wistful heart fares badly. Foolish choices made in mazes, time squandered on lingerie and shoes, on midnight trysts at the Globe, on those blue eyes at tidal beaches, the Thames whispering, more, more. Too many fairy tales. This is not the Wild West. Perhaps it's time to apologise, to heed the salt of blood in my mouth. Thank you, everyone.
Gorgeous. Please unmute yourselves and go absolutely wild for Finola. Woohoo!
Thank you.
Finola, thank you so much for finishing off
Fantastic.
for us tonight. Beautiful. What a night of words and storytelling and people. Honestly, we have so appreciated you all joining us tonight. It has been wonderful. Got a couple minutes left before we finish tonight. So take the opportunity to tell us what you're doing in the chat or even out loud. We want to hear like what's happening for you with language and words at the moment. Have you got a pamphlet, or have you been starting to do a blog, or are you on socials and you're starting to kind of share your stuff? What is it? We want to know. Pop it on. Because it's a real, this is a space to celebrate you, and we want to know, we want to hear, and we want to be behind you all the way. Oh, Caroline said TWOOMPH is the best, that's for sure. Pay your later, Caroline. Thank you. But honestly, it has been such a great night of words and incredible poetry from people who've done it loads of times before, and also for the first time as well, and we have enjoyed every single one of them. It's been amazing. Tony says, fantastic night as always. I'm going nowhere with my writing currently. I feel you, Tony. It's okay.
Oh.
But do you know what, nights like this ultimately still, so you just sometimes feel like you're kind of chewing on really good stuff that nourishes you, not just necessarily because it's all like sunny, but actually just because, I don't know, but something about sharing stuff together makes me feel good. It makes my brain start buzzing around, and even if I only get a few words down, or like my phone is always full of notes and like little like snatches of thoughts and things like that, and I could come back to them later. I don't have to come back to them now. I don't have to make a poem. Often my brain isn't working well enough to be able to finish all the way through to a first draft, and that's okay. I kind of do like a few seconds here and there. So like absolutely, like whatever it makes. And I think nights like this also really inspire me and make me that as well. So I'm loving it. So yeah, TWOOMPH happens every month. This is something that happens on it. I know that we've got lots of people who come every month and switch in and out, and we sometimes have 30, 40 or like, but it's always a really lovely, intimate, warm night. We have shenanigans, we have people sharing their stuff.